that you kind of show the work maybe going down instead of going across. So I have 4 times the square root of 128 plus 5 times the square root of 18. Now I look at 128 and I'm thinking, hey, perfect square, I don't know. But how would you factor 18? So I'm going to look at this one to help me out. What's a perfect square that goes into 18? 9 and 2. So we get that 9 and 2. So now I think, oh, okay, when I added these first ones, like I look at 10 and I look at 11, they have the same thing underneath here. What's going to be left underneath my square root is going to be 2, right? So this is going to be 5 times 3, square root 2. So I am going to divide 128 by 2. Why? Because I think I have to have a 2 left underneath. Thank you, Elise. So when I take 128, so 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 8, 4, 64. What a glorious number. It's a perfect square. We love it. Some of you may not love it as much as I love it at this point, but you love this. This is exciting. You're like, oh my gosh, we're going to come up with the same number underneath. 4 times 8 square root 2, right? Plus 8 times 4 gives us 32 square root 2. 5 times 3, 15. Oh my gosh, look how nice that is. And now we can add it. Those are like terms, okay? So I'm not sure, but my guess is in number 47. Maybe you struggled with what, when you looked at that one. If you look at a perfect square, you maybe had 4 times 10, right? And the square root of 9 times 10. Aren't you going to have the same thing left underneath your square roots? That's square root 10. You should be able to do that one. Now, I agree, the one that in 49, when I looked at 49, that's square root of 12. Okay, so we're going to look at that one. The square root of 12, I'm going to go with 4 times 3. Plus I have 4 times the square root of 75, which I'm going to go with 25 times 3. Ooh, that's looking nice, right? We're like, yes, this is good. Some of you might not think that, but when you're doing your math homework, you got to be thinking, yeah, this is making sense. And square root of 36 is just 6. So when I'm looking at the problem, I have 2 times the square root of 3 plus 4 times 5, which is going to give me 20 square root of 3 minus 6. These are my like terms. I cannot add the negative 6 minus 6 with that. Minus 6 is separate, and I am adding 3 plus 20. 23 square root of 3. Minus 22. Jeez. I was so excited about those square root of 3, but I got to add 3 too. Excitement on a Friday. It's just like, oh, this is what I need for you to do, showing your work, right? So,
we can keep the 6 on there or not?
yeah, you have to minus 6.
Well,
what else would you do with it? Add this for an answer. Negative 6 plus 22 square root 3. Is that the same answer? Yeah, it's exactly the same answer. Page 20. The date of our quiz will be Tuesday, and that is going to be the 20. 28. 226. 226. Okay? And there are going to be 18 questions and 50 points. Please make sure you write down what those 2 standards are, and then I'll kind of show you what we're looking at. Think about that exponential form, and I'm going to show you a few in your examples, but there's going to be 4 of each type. What do I mean 4 of each? I'm going to give you 4 that are written in exponential form, and I'm going to say change it to radical form. And then there's going to be 4 that are in radical form, and I'm going to say change it to exponential form. If I was looking at when did we do that, that was kind of your G2 and more G4, G3 and G4. So if you are looking back at your notes, I would pay special attention to G3 and G4 notes, okay? I don't think we have any on the quiz of asking you to tell me the subsets of numbers, like our homework quiz, like knowing the integers, the whole numbers, rational, irrational, that's not on this quiz. Simplifying radical expressions, there are 10 of those. So each one of these, I think I have written down, is a total of 24 points up here. So 8 questions, 24 points. And 26 points on the 10 questions. Some of them are worth 2 points, some of them are worth 3 points. So there's like 4 or 5 of them for 2 points each, and then 3. Because sometimes if you're simplifying something like the square root of 100, really that's probably not worth more than one point. We're looking at it, and I should have, if I'm looking at it, 10, right? So knowing that if we have something like that, some simpler ones. But then, yes, you're going to see some like you just saw on the G6 and like the G. So the toughest ones are probably going to be kind of like G6, but I would say going back to G2 and G3. Some of G3. More of G3 is on that other one. So G, probably if I'm thinking of my notes, G2, 5, and 6. That was the simplifying. Those were the ones where I handed back G6 on that page 326 and said, how did you do this? But you will have some that you're adding also, okay? So